Dapakasati, Trigamadapa, Dapakasati, Trigamadapa, Padani, Sari, Sadapa, Padani, Sari, Sadapa.
Hello, my name is Sandeep. I'm currently the captain of boats at Madras Boat Club. Holding all this, I've taken charge 6 months back. It's going to be there for a couple of years. I monitor all the rowing and take care of all the rowing facilities and equipment, as well as the coaching and training of all the people who are interested in rowing.
Your background, sir, as to what kind of effect?
I have been rowing myself personally for the last 35 to 40 years. I think I started in the early 80s. I'm a national medalist also. I've represented the state, the club, university. I've captained all India universities. And 30 years, 40 years of rowing has given me a lot of experience.
What kind of interesting instances that you have come across?
Incidents are many. When you spend 35, 40 years at one institution, the incidents are far too many. End of the day, it's the only sport which is a complete body exercise. Unlike other sports which are specific to specific parts of the body, rowing is a sport which involves the complete body, and it's not only aerobic, your lung power, it also develops strength, muscle strength, and you can do it. It's the least of the impact sports. There's absolutely no impact on any of your joints or muscles, so it's the best sport. You can do it at your convenience and to the load you want to do it.
Your experiences with different kinds of people who have come across here?
We have had all people as young as 12, 13 have started rowing, and they are still rowing. For the last 30 years they've been rowing. We've got people who are in their late 60s and 70s who are still rowing and very active, which is why rowing is a sport where you don't need to fall into a particular bracket in terms of strength or age or capacity. You can row as per your convenience, what suits you, when it suits you, ideally mornings and evenings when the sun is not out and it's shady, otherwise it's far too sharp to row. It's the best sport to get into right now.
What is the role of a captain in this kind of boat club, sir?
The role of the captain is to coordinate all the rowing facilities, provide training, coaching, and just make sure everybody can develop and deliver to their potential. We have a number of regattas conducted. We have intra-club, which is basically only for the members of the club. We have regattas. We have one every 3 to 4 months a year. We have got nationals, which is interstate, conducted by the Rowing Federation of India. Then we have the universities regattas, the All India Universities regattas, and we also have intra-club regattas, which are conducted between Madras, Calcutta, Pune. Primarily, these are the old centers where rowing has been happening for so many years now, it's decades, so we have these regattas. We used to have a Far Eastern Asian Rowing Championship as well, but that's not happened for the last couple of years because of the pandemic. Hope it will get revived this year. We'll take it from there.
What is your advice to the youngsters who want to, in fact, take up the sport?
Advice to youngsters, like any other sport, is only to be regular. Balance, we'll make sure, we will help, we will support at the club. We have the facilities, we have the infrastructure, and we have the manpower to train, guide, and coach. The only thing is you have to come in on a regular, consistent basis, come every day, as well as take the interest required to develop on your own.
With regard to the tournaments that take place here, some of the tournaments that take place here in Chennai?
In Chennai, we just have completed, see the regattas, it's called regattas. This is done on a rotation basis. So between, let's say, if you're talking about an inter-club regatta, it's hosted once in Madras, the next year it's hosted in Calcutta, the year after that it's hosted in Pune. So it's done by rotation. Even the Far East Rowing Championship is done in rotation between all the clubs. So we get to host it once in 3 years or 4 years. That's how it's done. The national events are selected and the venues are selected by the Rowing Federation of India. We have a limited water stretch. For the nationals, we need a 2,000 kilometer course, which we don't have here. Earlier, we have conducted nationals also in Chennai, where we manage with a 1,000 meter course, but today it's not possible. So those are different venues now for national events.
What is the distance here?
What we get here is approximately 900 meters, 950 meters. There has been a new wire mesh which has been put across the river under the bridge, so that reduces it. Otherwise, we used to be able to go down till Cosmopolitan Club and come back. On this side of the river, we go up till the broken bridge, depending on water conditions and depending on how much water is there, because the level of the water is affected by the water tide. Ideally, on a good day, we can go up to the broken bridge. This side, because of the mesh, we are not able to cross this bridge right now, Kottuppuram bridge, so we have to stop. We are lost about 150 meters there. Otherwise, we have about 950 meters.
Any funny, interesting moments, humorous moments when you were rowing?
Humorous, there are many. We used to have something called a Pagal Regatta when the water was slightly better. But most of the time we used to be in the water rather than on it. And there are so many incidents which are related to the Pagal, what we used to call the Pagal Regatta, which is not possible to conduct now considering kind of quality of water and the river it is. So we stopped doing it. Incidents are far too many.
What is it Pagal all about? Can you just briefly tell us?
It's basically, for example, if you're rowing, one of the events in that regatta used to be we used to get catamarans from the fishermen. We are used to rowing in different kind of boats. Handling a catamaran is totally different. In spite of rowing, handling catamaran, people used to fall in the river in spite of being on the catamaran, which the people use for a livelihood. So things like that are maybe similar, but totally different.
Any mishaps or any kind of accidents that have happened? Any boats that have turned down or toppled or?
Boats toppling over and turning over happens on a regular basis with newcomers. Not only newcomers, even experienced. Oarsmen have the chance of falling in the river, but that is one of the things which we are used to. More importantly, before anybody gets into rowing, we do a swimming test. We have our own swimming pool here. So we use that so that people are comfortable. They know swimming, because you can't row unless you know swimming and you're comfortable with swimming. In rowing, you cannot use life jackets to row. It's not possible because they are far too bulky. So the basic criteria for rowing is swimming. We do a swim test. We do that. Only then a person is permitted to row. If you don't know swimming, you can't row.
About these boats, can you just tell us about these boats?
We've got primarily 4 kinds of boats. Not only here, it's a standard the world over. What we have is a single scull, which is primarily one person rowing in the boat. Then what we have is a pair, where there are 2 people rowing together. Then we have a 4, like the name denotes, there are 4 people rowing in it. And then we have the 8s, where there are 8 people rowing in it. We do have 2 8s here, but we're not able to use it as much just because of the distance of the water. 8 is very good to use when you have 2,000-3,000 meters of straight river course to row in. Not having that much, but even then we try and take it out on the weekends, so it's easier. 4s are on the water. We've got a double scull also, where it's basically, a scull is primarily a person handling the blades on the left and the right hand side at the same time. So when we have 2 scullers together, it's called a double scull.
Anything that you want to add, sir, other than this?
I think I'd like to invite and take the opportunity to call all the children, students, ideally above 7th or 8th standard. It's an ideal sport to get into. We are going to be having our summer coaching camp for rowing. We normally conduct it in April and May. Once we know the school schedules, exam schedules we're going to be having, where it's going to be focused only on the children, teach them rowing, and those who want to stay on and get into competitive rowing are most welcome. We are going to be having the summer coaching camp, so I'd like to use this and call and invite all children, students, come, start rowing, get into the category of what we call a student membership. It's extremely nominally priced at 500 rupees a month. Everything is provided in that in terms of rowing facilities. Equipment is provided, coaching facilities provided. Come and row, and then that will culminate with the regatta only for the children of that summer camp.
With regard to the students' skills, what kind of skill set should they have?
Nothing. We will train you with the skill set required to get into competitive rowing. The whole idea of a camp is to teach and train you with the skill set required to get into proper rowing.
Because most of the children, in fact, today might think that I'm not.
No, the only skill set required is you should know swimming. That's about all that we want you to know. Balance, we will all teach you, we will train you, we will guide you.
What if they still don't know swimming? Will you be
We can help them learn here itself. In our pool, they can spend half an hour, 45 minutes a day. Use the time, Till then, not take out a boat. By the time they develop their swimming skills, there are other exercises where they can start developing their skills without getting into a boat by themselves, where you have the fear of toppling over. We can do that. They can learn swimming and also start rowing at the same time till they get the skill set to be able to take the boats out.
How long does this process take, the initial right from swimming to getting into a boat?
It depends on the person. It can be done as fast as a week or it can take a month. Entirely up to the interest of the individual and how much effort they put in.